Hello, my friends. What's going on? Katie Day with the Movement to Texas team down here in Houston, Texas. Just going live today, Taco Tuesday. Sans tacos. Sans any friends right now. Have had some technical difficulties in time management today. So I am by myself right now. But we are live on Facebook. We are live on YouTube. If you are watching, drop a comment in the comments below where you're watching from. Today, what we want to talk about is new construction and just kind of what we're seeing in the market. I think that, people that are looking to move from out of state or from different areas, obviously real estate is super local. So we're seeing lots of different things across the country. And yeah, we've gotten a lot of questions lately, especially around new construction. So wanted to chat about it. But hope you guys are having a great Tuesday. If you are eating tacos, let me know. If you are watching, let me know where you're watching from. And yeah, so I'm really excited about today because we're doing a little bit different of a setup for the show. We've got one of Andrea. What's going on? How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Oh, long time no see.
I feel like it's been forever.
It it has and it hasn't. I mean, like we were together earlier today. But like the time difference between earlier today and now does kind of feel like forever. So I totally get what you mean. How did the rest of your day go? What's new? How's life?
Everything is good. I have some appointments set up with new people that are moving into the area, and they're pretty excited to start their search. We focused and did a video at an awesome little neighborhood spot that'll be coming soon. So we'll share that on the YouTube and the Instagram page. And it's just been pretty good, pretty busy, just rocking and rolling and getting things done for our clients.
For sure, for sure. I'm really excited that you're here today because I feel like, first of all, you've been helping a lot of people these days. But also, I feel like you've been helping a lot of people buy new construction. And I think that, as I said earlier, like I think, real estate is obviously very local. So people hear like what's happening in other cities. They're moving from a place where, things may be kind of out of control. So it's like, there's lots of moving parts and they're like, what's going on, right? So I wanted to talk about new construction. I wanted to talk about why that's been a great option for some of your clients, and why people have kind of leaned that way. So I think before we kind of dig into like all of that, let's first kind of talk about like pros and cons of new construction and why, what are some like things in the plus column and things in the minus column of like new construction. So as far as pros, like what are some reasons as to why people want new construction?
A lot of people like new construction because it's brand new. They're coming into a house. They are the first owners of the home. And in a lot of situations, they can customize this home to their liking. So brand new home, new features. And that's one of the biggest reasons why a lot of people that I work with like new construction. Newer neighborhoods, newer communities, features that are things that are in these new neighborhoods, like water parks,
I want a water park.
Hey, pocket parks, water parks. We've got hiking trails. Those are things that a lot of people like and they love about these new developments in new neighborhoods, and they go in for new construction so that they can reap the benefits of this.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think some of these master plan communities are, really cool because they have those amenities. Like, I mean, and I think too, like some of the communities that have like restaurants within, your subdivision effectively. And I mean, I use the term subdivision lightly because, you think of a subdivision like a 500 home community. And most of these, Bridgelands and Cane Islands and Town Lakes aren't 500 home communities. They have 500 home sections. So it's definitely changed the landscape for real estate here. When you think of like Cinco Ranch, that's probably a bad example too. When you think of like Cypress Mill or Sydney Harbor or some of these older communities in Cypress, right? Villages of Cypress, Creek Lakes. Yeah. It's like versus like a Bridgeland or a Town Lake where it's just like all of these, all of these homes, right? So yeah, I think all of that's great. I think that it's like super on trend, right? So you're going to go in, they're going to have like the latest designs and the latest design trends and colors and features. Where were you, like, just like sidebar, where were you the other week in town? Like, was that David Weekley that you were at, the model home?
Yes, that was David Weekley at the model home right on the water view of the lake. It was really nice.
It was gorgeous. I actually, so I reposted your post. I got so many DMs about that. And I was like, I have no idea. Just DM Andrea. She can help you out. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, that David Weekley home is a super nice model home. If y'all have any questions in regards to buying a home or buying new construction, drop them in the comments. We'd always love to hear them. So yeah, design is great. Colors are great. You can choose your finishes. You know, sometimes the timelines are a little bit more flexible. So when you're buying new construction, right, you've got move-in inventory homes, right? So homes that the designer and builder has already chosen the finishes and all that. So like they're move-in ready. You know, you can normally move in that 30 to 45, maybe a couple month time frame, right? You've got dirt builds. So you go, you pick a lot, you build a house on it. You know, those are anywhere between 6 to 8, maybe 12 months out, depending on the builder. So yeah, like the timeline, depending on what your current living situation is sometimes more flexible than, you know, a homeowner that's selling their house, right? What other things are reasons why people like new construction? Any thoughts?
Warranties, because you have a builder warranty. So they know that if there's certain issues within the home, they can bring that to the builder and have that issue resolved within the warranty, which is typically, you've got in most homes, you've got a 1-year bumper to bumper, as they call it. We've also got a 2-year, and then we've got a 10-year, which covers your entire structure of the home. So your foundation, your frame of the home. That is
the big tickets, the big items.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, builders definitely vary on warranties. So that's something, if you're thinking about buying new construction, definitely something that you need to dig into with each builder, because not all of them have the same warranty. So some are, you know, better, some are worse, some are, you know, whatever, but definitely checking in to see what those are, you know, on the front end is something that's beneficial and something that you should do for sure. Cool. Trends, finishes.
Completely customize the home. Well, sometimes it's a little overwhelming when, you know, it's time to customize your home design center. Some people just don't want to do that. They want new, but they don't want to make all of those heavy decisions and think they're making a mistake with, you know, the interior of their home. So a lot of builders have packages that are already pre-selected that you can still choose from to semi-customize your home too.
Yeah, and I think that like that's good too from like a long-term perspective from the builder. So like obviously for the builder, like that puts their cost down generally, right? Because like if they're ordering a lot of the same products, you know, they can probably have some purchasing power there. So that's good on their part. But I think that from a design perspective, I've been in some homes that like I'm like, why did they choose that? Right. So like I think from like their perspective on like resaleability, like you're not going to choose like the green countertop, or they don't ever have green countertops, but like, you know, green backsplash and something that super clashes counters and whatever. So that's all good.
Hello.
What up?
What's up?
Hey.
Nikki, how's it going?
Oh, good. Just running across Houston, you know.
Yeah.
I was going to say town, but that wouldn't put it justice.
Yeah. She was literally just in the east end of Houston. Now is back up in the northwest side of Houston. And yeah, here she is. Cool. So we were just talking a little bit about the kind of pros of new construction and like things that are, you know, good about buying it. So we were talking about like, you know, that it's customizable. We were talking about that it's like on trend, right? Like most of the stuff you're going to see, like you generally will like if you like, you know, the light and bright that is today. We're talking about like obviously time frame can be a little bit more flexible sometimes. It comes with a warranty. Is there anything else that you can think of off the top of your head just to put you right on the spot as far as things that would be beneficial or things that you would like about buying new construction?
Did you already hit location? Like a lot of times new construction is going to be in like locations that are desirable to, you know, like a buyer.
We did not. That
in the loop anyways, I should say.
Yeah. So let's yeah, that is true. So with that being said, I want to dig a little bit into like things to think about. I don't want to say necessarily cons, but things to think about as far as new construction goes. So we all work all over. Like we've sold homes from Conroe to Pearland to Katy and everywhere in between, right? Andrea does work both a lot, but she works mainly in like Northwest Houston, Katy, Sugarland, up to the Woodlands and Conroe and Spring and kind of the more suburban areas. Does a lot inside the loop as well. And then Nikki works mainly inside the loop, right? Inside that 610 highway, but also works Katy and Spring and the Woodlands and kind of all over as well, right? So we all do both, but I think that they both like kind of specialize-ish in both neighborhoods a little bit more than the other. So I wanted both of y'all on here to have like differing perspectives. So with that being said, so new construction, I think one of the things, especially in the burbs, the suburbs, is clearly as everything gets more built out, the suburbs keep expanding, right? 99 is now a normal highway that everyone drives on, right? So the urban sprawl is sprawling. So I think that for a lot of new construction, and Andrea can definitely comment on this more, like it's not necessarily like Nikki said earlier, like you could be in a desirable area. Like with new construction, if you're going further and further out, the homes may be cheaper. So they may be in a more preferred price range, but they're further out and you're not going to have like trees. You're not going to have, you're going to have twigs, right? You're going to be dealing with new construction. You may not have the amenities that, a Cinco Ranch has, right? If you're going out to Brookshire, or you're not going to have the amenities that Cypress has if you're going out to somewhere else outside of Cypress.
Hockley.
Thoughts? Hockley. I was like, I was gonna say Magnolia, but Magnolia has amenities. So I was like, what's the city that I'm thinking of? Hockley. So yeah, I think that's something that like people don't always want, right? Like, hey, I want a new home, but I don't want to live in Hockley, or I don't want to live in like outside of Jordan Ranch, or I don't want to live in Fulshire. Thoughts on that?
I think you're right. That's completely right.
Say that again. What did you say?
Katie, you are correct. You are right. I mean, that's something, because the city is growing so much, these developers need places to put these homes. So they're having to go further out to Hockley, on the outskirts of Katy, Brookshire, Magnolia. They're growing out, and that is one of the downfalls. If you want to be closer to the city, you're not going to be able to do that if you're looking for brand new construction within a certain price point.
Yeah. Other things to think about is obviously if it's a bigger community and they're continuing to build, you're going to have to deal with construction. You're going to have to deal with like mess, like possibly nails and tires, things like that. Most builders keep a very clean site, right? But like keep that in mind if they're building, especially in like kind of, those master plan communities or the bigger suburbs. You're going to have construction. They don't sell 1, 2, 3, 4 in a line, right? What are some other things to consider or cons of construction that's new?
I would say tax rate. Bonds and tax rates are the big thing. As these areas are developing, the tax rates are a little bit higher to pay for these bonds in these schools. And that is one of the major cons.
Yeah, for sure. So when new construction is being built, especially when the infrastructure does not already exist, right? So in the loop, they basically will normally tie into city water. They'll tie into power, gas, whatever. It's a lot easier. But like, think if you've got 100 acres of vacant land and you need to put in sidewalks and infrastructure and water and sewer and all that, there's a municipal utility district that they charge, back to all of the homeowners over a very long period of time. And that's called a MUD tax. That you pay for and pay back those bonds. So yeah, really good point there. Tax rates in some of the newer master plan communities or newer, kind of, I don't know if I would call them master plan, but like Jordan Ranch and what is it, Polo Ranch out there?
Yes.
Can go up to the high threes.
I've seen some 3.96% in Katy recently.
That's high. That is high. Nikki, any other cons you can think of?
No, I was going to say tax rate too. So, I mean, I think that's definitely the biggest one that Andrea hit on. So, yeah. And then, yeah, I guess like commute, which we've already talked about.
If you don't drive as fast as Andrea, your commute does get long. Andrea, did you have something to say of constructive value here?
I do. I was going to say that one of the downsides to a lot of these new construction communities are the HOAs. The HOAs are usually quite a bit higher, even if it's not a master plan community. Newer communities just have higher HOAs. I mean, we've seen some that are $1,000 annually and more than that in some cases.
Yeah, for sure. Simon says moving to Candela subdivision in August. That's Richmond, I think. So very cool. So Richmond's another area that I feel like we've seen significant development and growth. I mean, I remember going out to Richmond, God, back in 2016 when I first got into real estate, and like you just kept driving and driving and driving, and now like there's a lot more infrastructure out there. So that is cool, Simon. Congratulations. Yeah, I mean, I think taxes can be higher. I think dealing with construction can be frustrating. Anything else on kind of the con list? Okay, I've got one. So I think one other thing too is like the warranties are great and like having a brand new home is great, but like you kind of got to break in a home. So like, I think one thing that I think that is a pro of buying like a recently constructed home that someone's already lived in is like they've dealt with like the leaky faucet. They've dealt with like the things that like may or may not happen in that first year when you're living in a home that like it's now been battle tested and like someone's lived there and it's like you've done an inspection, whatever. Like so there's like even if you do when you do an inspection on new construction, you get that the builder to fix everything. Like there's still going to be things that happen that like are just going to be annoying about living in a new home. Like so I think that like that's something that people probably don't talk about very frequently, but like I think that that's something that like if you're buying a resale home, like it's been lived in, which like is a pro and a con, right? Depending on how you think about it. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're going to see some settlement. You're going to see some like caulking, like it looks like you're cracking or something, but it's not. Your home is settling. So
you're like looking at a crack on your steel. Like, yep.
It's new. What is going on? But yeah, it's like normal, completely normal.
Yeah. Andrea, I feel like you're trying to say something and we both keep talking.
I was agreeing with Nikki because I've walked into new homes and that's the first thing that somebody will point out. There's a crack in the ceiling. The house is falling apart. No, it's not falling apart. It's just settling. It's new. It has to settle onto its foundation.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that any other cons that y'all can think of?
The homes, you don't have as much space. In a lot of new construction communities, you do not have as much space between your neighbors. So some of the homes are built pretty close together.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely, land is at a significant premium these days, right? So like most builders have those like 40, 50, foot lots. So if you're in like the 60 or 70, foot subdivision sections of the subdivision, like you're normally paying a pretty penny for that land. And same thing inside the loop, right? Like we don't have much more land inside the loop. So they're built up, not out. So if you are in those homes, that are first floor living, that, are the 2,500 plus square foot houses, normally you're going to be paying 500K or more, right? So the, first floor living is, and kind of larger yard is a little bit more hard to come by inside the loop, but we do have some builders we work with that have those, right? I mean, that are affordable.
Yeah. I mean, having a yard is desirable, so it'd be smart for some of the builders to definitely keep that in mind when thinking of buyers, but of course they're just trying to develop and put as many homes on the lot that they can. So.
Yeah. I mean, and that's so like inside the loop, I feel like, we've got generally like, like a 5,000 square foot lot. So builders will either do 3, right? To where you have the inner loop yard that's this big, or they'll do 2 where it's a 2,500 square foot lot and you get a little bit bigger of a yard. So I mean, it definitely varies depending on where you're living. So yeah, I think That's kind of like general things, right? That's kind of like if you were to Google like pros and cons of new construction, kind of what you'd get, right? As far as like things to think about, things to, whatever. I kind of want to dig into like the more tactical, like, the Andrea, why are your clients buying new construction? Like, what are you guys seeing? What are you advising your clients? Before we dig into that, I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on in the market. And that'll kind of lead into some of the conversation. So right now in Houston, we have 13,000 active listings, 13,403, which equates to 1.5 months of inventory. So what that means is basically if no more homes came on the market, right, and homes continue to sell at the pace that they have been selling, we would run out of homes in 1.5 months. Like that's 6 weeks, right? So if you're thinking about possibly selling your home or you just want to know how much your home is worth, let us know. But 1.5 months of inventory. If we then flip that over to new construction, there's only 3,974 new construction listings on the market right now, but that's 2.2 months of inventory. So relatively speaking, there are more homes available. One other thing that we didn't talk about with new construction is not every new construction home is in the MLS, right? Builders and developers and whatever, I don't care if they sell one home or 1,000 homes a year, they don't put every single home in the MLS, right? So that's where having an agent that has good connections with builders is helpful to know what's coming soon, what's not on the market, what is what, because that 3,974 in the greater Houston area is definitely higher. So there's definitely more inventory out there. You just got to know who to ask. So my 2 cents there. Yeah. What do you guys think? Let's dig into some like actual nitty gritty of what's happening in the market right now. Andrea, let's start with you. Why are your clients going towards new construction?
A lot of them are going towards new construction because they do not want to deal with the stress and the frustration of being outbid in multiple offer scenarios. They feel that it's just easier and it's just easier to get into a new construction home in some cases.
Yeah. Do you find that that's because of their location? Do you find like what are some reasons why? Like, obviously, yeah, it's less stressful, but like just thinking about like some of the last clients you've had, and I feel like a lot of your clients have gone the new construction route, like any other particular reasons, or, is it that the location they were looking in just doesn't have any resale homes? What are your thoughts?
There are a lot of reasons. So a lot of the clients that I work with, they want to be in like the Katy School District or the Cypress School District. They're at a certain price point, say $300,000. And that price point is very hot with buyers right now. Once a home goes on the market, it's probably gone within a couple of days and in a multiple offer situation. With a $300,000 budget, there are quite a few options out there in new construction. They can get something obviously brand new. They can make selections in the home. They're not dealing with multiple offers. We just know that if we go in there, we see a home, we can put down the earnest deposit, and if it is available, put down the earnest deposit, and we're good to go. It's a matter of first come, first serve. Whereas homes on MLS, resale homes, it's not necessarily first come, first serve.
Yeah. So Nikki, outside of kind of what Andrea said, do you feel like your clients have any other reasons why they've considered new construction, or why have they been leaning, or if it's the same, that's cool too, but like why have they been leaning towards new construction?
Yeah, so I mean, the majority of the clients that I work with are more in the loop, and so we are looking a lot of new construction in the loop, but we definitely balance that out looking at resale as well. If I have clients that are outside, it's definitely kind of like what Andrea is saying. There's just more new construction, and it just opens up so that they're not in those multiple offer situations. But in the loop, a lot of times they go with the new construction route because there's obviously resale homes that are available in the loop in those areas that they want to be in. But if you can get a new construction home, that's obviously brand new versus one that's 10 years old, obviously that kind of like that weighs out pro-wise, and you get a warranty with it. And you're still in the same area. So that kind of definitely is why I see, we were just at new construction this past weekend looking at it and looked at resale in the same area. And, price-wise, it's not much more to go with some of the new construction. So I think that's why some of my clients lean that way in the loop.
Well, and that's what I was going to say is like a lot of like, I feel like a lot of your clients recently have been, or even, over the past year or so have been like looking in areas that are still in like a revitalization and gentrification process, right? So if you're looking in the East End, like sometimes I would say less now than last year and even more so than the year before that, like then you could still get a home for the very similar price to resale, but it's brand new, right? So like if I'm going to offer you like, hey, here's a brand new home and here's one that's been lived in for 5 years, like, do you want fresh new carpet or like carpet that's been lived on for a few years? Like you're almost always going to say new, right?
Mix and dings.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that that's definitely been the case, but I feel as if, a lot of these communities, like especially in like Edo, I think, because you had a lot of clients moving in Edo last year, like I feel like Edo is almost gotten to the point where new construction is ticking up and the builders now, like the prices are higher. So it's not like, it's like then you could get a house for under 400 either, like you could go either way. And now it's like ticking up to over 4, right? For a lot of the new construction, if you want to be in that core East downtown, close to downtown near all the bars and restaurants, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. And the other area we were in was Shady Acres. So like there's some new construction in Shady Acres, in the mid 4s, like to lower 4s. And like some of the resale is, not much less than that. So like whenever you just weigh that out, it's like, okay, well.
Yeah. That's also an area that like, I'm surprised if you were to rewind back, I guess we're in 2021 now. So if you were to rewind back to like between 16 and 18, there were so many homes being built that you had like the pick of the litter. Now, when you look, there's new construction for sure, but like it is built out so much more than it was then. I mean, and clearly like, I'm just saying something that's super elementary. Like obviously there was more land now there's more homes. Wow. What a revelation. But yeah, I was running comps for a client over there as well and was just like, holy moly. That's what I said holy moly. There's a lot of homes built. Yeah. But I mean, that's driving prices up. So yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
I had a question for Andrea.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. So a lot of your clients I know you're selling so much out in the suburbs. Are you seeing a lot of wait lists? Because a lot of people are asking me that too.
Yes. So I have seen some builders who do have wait lists just to even be able to purchase a lot. There are communities that will require you to essentially buy into a lottery so that you have the opportunity to purchase a lot and then later on decide on what home you would like to add to that lot. We are seeing wait lists where homes, they're completely out. Communities are out of inventory and there's a 6-month wait before they're going to release any more lots and start building more homes. So just like in the resale market where the inventory is low, that is happening quite a bit in the new construction market as well too.
Yeah. And I know, like, I don't know if you've had this conversation with them, but a lot of people, it's kind of like one of those Mythbuster things that when we're speaking with buyers, they think they don't need an agent to help them navigate the new like construction home buying process. But it's like, just like what Andrea was saying, you need somebody that's going to help you navigate that like wait list, the lotteries. It's, what's going on in the market right now, especially with new construction. So it's why you should have one of us on your side.
Yep. And to touch on that too, when you're going into a new construction community and you're by yourself, you don't have an agent representing you, is that salesperson working in your best interest or are they working in the buyer's best interest? I mean, I can guarantee you it's not necessarily going to be in your best interest. So you want to have somebody there who's going to assist you through the process, review the contract with you, make sure that you understand the deadlines and such and what's expected, because if not, you're going in blind.
Cool.
So yeah, speaking of that, and obviously going in and like the person in the office is like generally working in the builder's best interest, right? I wanted to talk a little bit about builder lenders. So pretty much every builder is going to have a preferred lender, right? We've had preferred lenders on the projects that, we've represented as far as for new construction. Because it's always helpful to have, that point person that can assist clients in getting approved. In the suburbs, most major developers and builders are going to have a lender that is affiliated with them. So like I don't know. I guess I'll just call like DR Horton has DHI Mortgage. Andrea, can you help me out with some others?
Perry has their own internal lender, which is Perry directly.
Does Highland have one?
Highland does, yes.
Yeah.
Highland has one. David Weekly, most of them do.
Yeah. So basically, they're affiliated partners, right? So they, are owned by the same entity. So that's great. A lot of the preferred lenders are going to say that they're able to provide you with some sort of buyer credit toward your closing cost, or lender credit toward your closing costs, or seller credit toward your closing costs. So say, your down payment's 10%, your closing costs are how many ever percent, they're going to give you $5,000 towards your closing costs. One thing that we've seen, and even if you're going the new construction route, I always recommend getting a second opinion and having another lender look over it, is because a lot of times they'll tack on other fees or increase or inflate your interest rate to where your monthly payment doesn't actually, like, you're going to have a higher monthly payment, and like those $5,000 of credit that you're receiving isn't actually, like, doesn't really matter. In which, like, our lenders that we work with, which we have really no affiliation with, like, other than working with them regularly and personally using them for our personal properties, like, they are able to beat out that preferred lender from the builder. So always get a second opinion. That's my major PSA. If you're purchasing, obviously I think you should use a realtor, but you should always get a second opinion on the loan.
Yes, always get the second opinion. And something, there's a lender that I work with very closely quite a bit. She's had amazing results for my clients. She doesn't advertise it, but she does have some builder relations as well, where sometimes she can negotiate and we can work together and negotiate some type of incentive if our clients go with her as well. So it's kind of a double bonus, lower interest rates, and could still get an incentive, which is really nice for our clients.
Top secret, call Andrea for all of your secret builder need. No, I'm just kidding. This is probably gonna get flagged by someone or something. I'm like, that was a disclaimer. I was joking. It was a joke. You should still call Andrea if you want to buy a house, or Nikki. But that was a joke. Nikki, I know that you had some other thoughts. Did you have any other questions that we hadn't already covered that you wanted to, or talking points that we hadn't already covered?
I think y'all covered a lot of the talking points, and I didn't hear them. But
that was, I was going to list
y'all rattled off.
I was going to say that as well. We also covered a lot when you weren't here, when you're eating bonbons earlier.
Yeah, you know me.
I think it's also important to have an agent who has really strong builder relations, because I have had builder reps and builder sales call me and let me know that a contract has fallen through and a certain home is now available, or we're getting ready to sell the model home. Do you have anybody who may be interested in this?
Yeah. Get you an agent that stalks builders, like my girl Andrea. No, I mean, it's like we have those relationships, and I was saying that earlier. I talk to a lot of builders, just like, because I want to know what they're doing. I want to know what they're seeing. I want to know what trends they're seeing, because like home trends like start with new construction and then they trickle down into the rest of the market, right? Like we talk to sellers, they're like, oh yeah, I'm like replacing the backsplash and putting in subway tile. I'm replacing the vanity in the bathroom. I'm doing this, I'm doing that, because like they go and they buy a new construction house and like, oh man, look at this, busted ass vanity I have, or cabinet or whatever. Like that's what buyers want. Buyers want move-in ready. They want HGTV. They want that picture perfect house. And like new construction is like, always kind of the bee's knees as far as that goes. So yeah. And I think I'm rambling, but I think that the other good thing, like as Andrea said, is like find an agent that has good builder connections. Like that's why I love like our group, right? Like we've got, Andrea that has been selling homes from Porter to Hockley to Katy to Sugar Land and everywhere in between inside the loop, and is talking to these builder contacts on a very regular basis, right? Like Nikki and I talk to a lot of builders inside the loop on a very frequent basis, right? Like, and stay up to date on that. Like Annika, one of the other agents on our team, has sold new construction in Independent Heights. She sold new construction, inside the loop in the Heights as well. Mike, who's also been on our team for a little bit shorter of a period of time, like he sold down south new construction. He sold in Independence Heights new construction. He sold inside the loop new construction. So like we have a lot of contacts. And if you're going with an individual agent, that's fine. But like, do they have the bandwidth to make that many connections across the industry? No, they don't. Like there's just no way, because they're also doing all of their other stuff. And I'm getting on a soapbox and I'll stop. But like, that's where I think that like our collaboration is super beneficial for our clients.
No, absolutely. And I can speak to that because just like this past week, I have a client who decided to expand their search like a little bit further out. I have not, gone as far out to some of these newer construction communities that Andrea has. So I knew she had, like a list already that she'd been working. So I was like, Andrea, and I started picking her brain and like getting those lists together so I could help better serve my client too. And I mean, that just, serves like the fact that we're on a team together and we can do that. We got each other's backs.
Oh yeah.
Faux show. Faux show. What other things about new construction have we not talked about?
Y'all talked about warranties. Y'all talked about blue tape blocks.
So yeah, we actually didn't talk about, okay. So as I said before, if it's already built, you can normally close 30 to 45 days. If you're buying a inventory home that's already built or already in the process, again, that's like 30 to 45 days, or like maybe a little longer if it hasn't been fully completed. And then dirt build 6 months to a year, plus or minus, depending on the builder and all of that. So Nikki, we can start with you. I go under contract on a home. We'll just pretend like it's already built, even though I should have pretended the other. We'll pretend like it's already built. Let's talk about, I do an inspection and then what happens? I have my inspection report. What do I do with it?
You're talking about resale?
No, new construction. I have my inspection report. What do I do with it?
Yeah, so we're actually going to just hand that entire inspection report over to the builder rep, the project manager who's going to take a look. They're going to go through the entire document and they're going to actually fix 95, I would say, % of what's on the inspection. There might be some things that are pointed out by the inspector, but actually they're code compliant. So they might not make any of those changes, but they're going to go over it with you as well. So they're going to make those changes and then we're going to have a meeting with them to go over that inspection report, and they're going to make notes and point out every change that they've made with that inspection report.
Yeah, for sure. And then after they make those changes, Andrea, what comes next?
We are going to do a blue tape walkthrough. We're going to get some blue tape and mark everything in that home that is not ready to go, move-in ready, you name it. The walls are going to be blue because we've added tape everywhere. Every mark on the carpet, chips in the wall with the, need some touch-ups here. Maybe your light fixture is crooked. We're going to mark everything.
Nikki, I don't know about you, but did you get a little nervous when Andrea said everything?
I was like, man, I would hope no builders are watching this. See, it's coming.
But yeah, so anyways, the blue tape walk is basically you mark anything that's cosmetic that needs to be addressed, as well as then like normally, you give the inspection report to the builder and then a couple of days or a week goes by and then you do the blue tape because that gives them the time to do those touch-ups to, fix those things. And then you'll be able to, turn on that faucet or check the things that should have been remedied. And then normally after that, depending on how blue the house is when Andrea leaves, then we'll do a final walk. Sometimes that's the day of closing, sometimes it's the day before, just because obviously depending on how much stuff there is, and address any minor items that may still exist at that point in time. And then you close. But that blue tape walk is your opportunity to mark everything. Nikki was asking earlier about resale. If you were buying a resale home and you get that inspection report, you're going to sit down with your agent and review it and see, of kind of the major systems, foundation, roof, plumbing, electrical, HVAC, like what are some major health and safety items or major habitability items that I would need to have addressed? And we would try to formulate a game plan to, have those addressed or, by repairing or credit or whatever. But like new construction, I'm like, here's my report and they fix it. So that's definitely in the pro column, as far as, getting a home that's in generally the best condition generally that you can get most of the time.
Yeah. On that note, with inspections, because we live in Houston, there are tons of stucco homes. Even if you're purchasing a new construction home and it's stucco, you can still get a stucco inspection.
Yeah.
Would recommend it.
Yeah. I would as well. Yeah, I mean, and so the other thing that I was thinking is if you're buying a home at dirt, you can do phase inspections. So a phase inspection, basically there's 3 of them. You would do one pre-pour. So once they've framed out the foundation before they put the concrete in and the slab, you would do one before they drywall. So once they've plumbed in and put in, kind of all of the innards of the home before they seal those walls and you can't see behind them. And then you would do one once the house is already done. But if the house is already done, you'd only do that one inspection. So depending on what you're buying, I do think that it is a great investment to do those inspections, because if there is something wrong, it may be covered by a warranty. But if it's not covered by a warranty, or it's not something that you discover until after warranty's expired, you're going to be pretty pissed that you didn't spend a couple $100s a couple times to get those inspections. So my 2 cents. Inspections and blue tape walks. When you said that, something else came to my mind that has now departed from my brain. I don't remember what it was. Anything else? What do you think, Andrea?
Inspections. A lot of people don't think that they need inspections on new construction because it's new construction and it should be perfect. These are man-made. We all make mistakes. We want an inspector to check out this home because they are trained to look for certain things that we may not necessarily see.
I've seen some new construction inspection reports that are longer than a resale inspection report. So you should always get it. Always. And that's some builders, who I will not name in this case, but some builders will tell you that they have to pass city inspections. But think about this. If you have a 500 home community that's being built, do you think that city inspector is going into every single home and checking every single item in every single home? No, they're not. Like, that just, there's no feasible way. The city is already so backed up on permits and inspections and all of the things. Like, so yes, they are checking it. Yes, it has to pass specific things and codes, but no, they are not running every faucet. They're not testing every, outlet. You need to do your own third-party inspection. I find it weird. There are just some things that I feel very strongly about. I'm like over here like, no, yeah, I'm like over here like on my soapbox, like, you need to do a third-party inspection. I'm like, why am I being this? Why am I like this?
It's important. It's because you care. It's a large purchase for our clients and you care about them.
Why am I worked up over an inspection? If you're watching this, do an inspection. New construction. Anything else that we didn't touch on? If you guys have any questions, drop them in the comments. We'll come back through and answer them later if we don't get to them tonight, this evening. And if you have any questions, Andrea and Nikki's contact info is in the comments below, if you want to reach out to them in regards to anything. But any other points, thoughts?
What about resale value on new construction? When you've come into a new construction home you've purchased, maybe 2 years down the road, you'd like to sell. What do you have to say about resale value on these homes?
I've got a lot to say about values of homes. Simon had a question. Should I send an inspection report to my lender? No, it really just goes to the builder. I wouldn't send it to the lender. That I would just send it to the builder. All good there. All right. So I'm going to hop back up onto my soapbox here for a minute. Depending on how long you think you may stay in your home, would be something that I would want to know before we go down the path of you buying a new construction home. Because as we said earlier, like, if given the choice, would you buy new construction or resale, right? Like, if all things equal, they're both the same price. Do you want a new home or a used home? Most people are going to say new. So if you're buying in a community at the beginning of a build out, right? It's a 500 home community, say in Katy, in Cypress, in a suburb somewhere. And you buy the third home. Yes, in theory, homes will continue to be more expensive as the community continues to build out. So if you buy first, you're an early adopter, that's great. In theory, yes, homes will continue to appreciate and homes will continue to go up in value because builders do that. They start out low to get a couple people in and they start jacking up the prices. So you do want to be on the front end of things. That's also true inside the loop. It's true everywhere. But if you are in a community like that, where it's a 500 home community and you're one of the first people to buy and you may move in a year, 2 years, 3 years, chances are they are still going to be building the same homes around you and you are not going to be able to sell your home for more money because the lenders don't give a shit. The builder is going to be building the same homes at around the same price and their lender is going to be giving incentives for buyers to buy those homes. So you are not going to sell it at a huge profit. The same thing happens inside the loop, similar to East Downtown, Shady Acres, now Independence Heights, 5th Ward, Denver Harbor, 3rd Ward, OST, Sunnyside. These are more developing areas in Houston. There's tons of builders flocking to these areas to build, and you buy a new construction home today. Yes, home values are going to go up because they're building more homes. Yes, like all of that's going to happen. But if you try to go to sell in a year and they're still building the same homes right down the street, no one's going to want to buy your home for $375 if the brand new homes are selling for $375. You're going to have to drop that price for it to be extra compelling for a buyer to want to buy. So that's kind of my thing. We work a ton in East Downtown. So that was something in, 17, 18, 19 that we were seeing a lot of because there are these huge communities of 50 plus homes that are selling in the 300s and a person bought their house for $350 and they want to sell for $375, but there are brand new homes down the street selling for $340. No one's buying your house for $375. It's just a fact of the matter.
Not when you can get the new model.
Yeah. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. What else do you guys have to say? That's a huge soapbox of mine. And that's, something that I feel like I want to tell clients because like, I think that real estate agents get a bad name because it's like, oh, they think that we're out there just to get a commission. Like I'll talk someone out of not buying or not selling a home if it makes the most sense for them. And that's a new construction thing. Like, hey, if you're only going to be here a year, yeah, it'd be great to build equity, but like, I don't think you should buy a house. Like, let's find your good rental. You can live in a super swank apartment for a year and then go to whatever city's next for you or whatever. Like,
yeah, no, I mean, that's why it's like, we always ask those questions, like, how long are you see yourself living in this home, up front is not because we're like nosy or anything. Like, how long are you living there? Kind of sometimes. So, like we're wanting to make sure like, we can advise you the best way we can too. So.
Well, and I think, yeah, I'm nosy.
Yeah. That too.
How big is this bottle of water? Like, it's like the size of
it looks head. Amazing. It looks amazing right now. I didn't put enough water in my cup. So.
I put mine to shame.
They don't say size matters, but
talking about tacos.
I do love a good taco. Any other points? Any other thoughts? That was a good one. Sorry, I just rambled. I like rambling if you guys can't tell already. Sorry.
We're here for it.
All right. Anything else on new construction?
I think we hit a lot.
Yeah.
Do you have questions? Do you have more questions about new construction? Or if you want to tour some new construction?
That's the thing too about, let me hop on another soapbox here. New construction models are always just so sexy. They always have these bold colors and like, I always think, oh, what is the builder? I think it's Highland.
Highland.
I think it's Highland because they have a lot of the really tall rooms.
And they do accent walls.
Yes, the peaks in the rooms, like the really high walls and the tall doors.
But they do these bold colors that go from floor to ceiling, and it's like, 20 freaking feet. And like, I would never do that in my own home.
I'm doing it.
one, like, look at these walls. Like, I could be in a different room, but all of my walls look like this because we haven't painted any of them because I'm just a bum. But like, new construction also, like, is it that great of a house, or is this model just super sexy and now I want it because it has something that like hooks me, right? Like some sort of like, it's, oh, that's the green wall house, or oh, that's the unicorn house because they have like a unicorn on the wall, or whatever it is. Like, there's always something that hooks you. I don't know.
They do great with staging and all of it.
Yes,
Yeah.
so that's one thing that happens quite a bit is we'll take my clients to check out new construction. Of course, we have to look at the model home first. My clients will fall in love with the model home, and then they'll show us the home that they've got for sale, and it's the same floor plan, but it's just totally different because it doesn't have the upgrades in it. It doesn't have the high ceilings. It doesn't have the staging to really lay out the room, and sometimes it is a little bit of a disappointment. So that's a pet peeve of mine.
Add it to the list. That's another thing too. If you are selling a home that is that home that you purchased last year and it's in a new construction community, and there's other homes that are selling that are still new construction. If you are moving, you need to stage your home. You need to repaint. You need to clean the carpets, or like it needs to look better than a model home. Because here's the thing too, is like it could be a very good deal for a buyer because they have blinds, they have a fridge, they have a washer dryer. If you leave all of that stuff, like that stuff adds up, right? That's like expensive. So if a buyer can buy all of that in a gently used home and it looks sexy, there's a higher probability of you selling it. So
yeah, package it pretty.
Yeah. Cool. Well, if you guys have questions about new construction, email, DM, Andrea. I actually can't edit your, I could mute you, but I can't edit your name. I was going to edit you to say your handle, your Instagram handle. But anyways, if you guys have questions about new construction, please let us know. We are always happy to answer your questions. Hope you guys are having a fabulous Tuesday, and we will see you next Taco Tuesday in 2 weeks.